Before we get into the video, shout out to our sponsors, Subside clothing brand. Subside is a new, up-and-coming clothing brand established in Bristol that is looking to add something different with their clean designs that celebrate their roots. You can find the link to all their social medias in the description of this video. From the Terrace Podcast and Subside clothing brand, it's a match made in heaven. Support the boys, support the grind, shop Subside. Hello and welcome back to the From the Terrace Podcast and a long-awaited episode of Champ Talk. We are back with another episode reviewing the weekend's action and previewing a lovely set of midweek fixtures. Before we get into those games, though, there has been big news that has broken the last few hours or so, with the coinciding with the end of the lockdown on December 2nd. Fans are going to be allowed back into stadia. Championship fans get to watch their teams lose on a miserable Tuesday night again. It is what we all live for. Regan, so it's going to be tier 3 people. Tier 3 areas are no longer allowed. Are still not going to be allowed fans in stadiums, but tier 2 are going to have an initial 2,000 allowed in, and tier 1 4,000 throughout the football league. Looking forward to it, or do you reckon it's going to make a big difference?
Well, I'll start off by saying this is a massive win for not just the football teams, but just for the football community, because to have any fans back in those higher stadiums is a bonus for everyone. But my theory of if it's actually good for the country is a completely different matter that I won't go on about. No. But I feel like for most of I feel like in the Championship and Premier League, most of the stadiums and the teams are probably in a tier 2, and probably quite a lot are in a tier 3 area, I have to say. So I don't think to start off with it will make an amazing difference, especially from a Premier League and Championship. All the London clubs, especially, they'll be in tier 3, and there's quite a lot in EFL and Prem. So that's a bit of a letdown on all the clubs up north for tier 3 and all that. So I think you'll see a minimal change at the moment, but
I do think after lockdown, though, that some of the tiers are going to be changed. Like I do get there's still going to be some areas that are tier 3, yeah, fully will, but I think there are a few areas that are changing down to tier 2 now because the lockdown has, helped somewhat in mitigating the circumstances. But yeah, you are right. It's a big win for the football community. Just it's not even like I'm not even really excited by the fact of having 2,000 fans in a stadium isn't amazing, but it's what it signifies, and it's like it's optimism for the future, isn't it? That we're gonna have people back, like you said. All the time we've had to put fans back into stadiums, and they decide coming out of a national lockdown it's the right time. Seems absolutely baffling to me, but I'm happy with the news, and to be honest, I want to get this all past us, so I'm happy with that. Looking forward to a cold Wednesday night at the Brentford Community Stadium in due course. Anyway, we'll get into the weekend's fixtures. We're going to start off with the lunchtime kickoff on Saturday. It was Bournemouth 4, Reading 2. Wheels on that Reading bus that are coming off quite quickly, aren't they, Regan? Thoughts on the game?
Well, if you ever thought of a game of two halves, look no further. When I saw because I think I was probably asleep until half time, but when I woke up and saw it was 2-0, I went, hang on, there could be a game on there. I think Reading might get the season back on track. And then you see this 2-1, 2-2. I'm like, okay, maybe hold on for a draw and then just let it go. So yeah, you're 100% right. The wheels were on their last hinges before the international break, and now one's fallen off, and they're only on 3 wheels. And in 3 weeks' time, they're not going to have any left, and they're going to be right where many people predicted them to be.
Yeah, I completely agree. We've said it all the time, and it may have seen a cop out at the time, but I think we can't really persisted because we knew it was true, and we knew that Reading team wasn't good enough. We said week after week, despite their good defensive record, that defence isn't good enough. And I saw the stat that I think after the first few games, Reading had the best defence in the 92. In the 90. Is it not? Yeah, it was the 92 in the 92 clubs in the top 4 divisions of England. And now after the last bunch of games, they have the worst defensive record in the 92. So they have dropped 91 positions in the defensive record stats, if you want to put it that way. It's completely falling apart. And don't get me wrong, good start with that by that manager, and you've got to say fair play to them. But I think Reading are nothing more than a mid-table side this season, and they are just clutching on to the grips of the top six at the moment. But it won't last for long. I think we've mentioned all the good things about Bournemouth recently, so I don't think there's too much to say there. Dan Juma doing well again for Bournemouth, a player that has surprised me, and I've probably surprised a few people of how well he's done in the Championship, seeing as he wasn't a prominent figure in the Premier League. But Bournemouth doing well there. Reading dropping down to 6th now. The next game I'm going to talk about is Middlesbrough 0 and Norwich 1. Neil Warnock's Middlesbrough finally conceding a goal. Norwich City, Timu Pukki scoring the winner for them. They're winning 1-0. We have new table toppers, Regan. Norwich are top. Are we saying that that's a team that's too good for the Championship now?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think that their performances throughout the season, I think, especially Starfleet, was a little bit inconsistent. And I wouldn't say that at this point, I would look at them and be like, yeah, you're going to win the league, because that's what I see when you say table toppers and people who are too good for this league. That's what I think. I think they're the teams that will get the results out and look convincing every week. And I've got to be honest, even though it is against Neil Warnock team, it didn't look the most convincing team. When we did our predictions on our social medias, I said this as a 0-0 written all over it, and it was only a 1-0. So I wasn't blown away by the result, because that's, it's not convincing if you're predicting the scoreline and only getting it wrong by a goal. But like you said, it's an important win for Norwich against a team that could be up there as well come the end of the season. So 3 points, and if they can carry the momentum, I think they could be in a good spot come the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I think the reason I maybe see this is the sign of a team who's going to win the league, is for going to Middlesbrough's no easy feat. And the one thing I have against Norwich this season, I've said their team's got all the ability in the world. They're playing some brilliant football. Are they strong? Can they stand up to a challenge when you get those games in the Championship? You're thinking the likes of Birmingham. Middlesbrough probably the hardest team to go to in the league in terms of how they're going to make it a physical battle for you. And they turn up, got a clean sheet, and got the win. I think that's all you can really ask for. I mean, like you said, they're not showing signs yet of running away with the league. Of course not. They've only just gone top, but they're starting to hit their stride now. And I think that team, in terms of quality in the starting 11, is not rivaled by many, if anyone at all, in the league. So Norwich going well. Timu Pukki scoring back in the goals. Finally, from the weekend's fixtures, we are going to discuss Stoke City 4, Huddersfield 3. Now, I went for Huddersfield in this game, much to Regan's surprise, but they definitely made a game of it, didn't they? I think a notable factor, though, Regan, your little shout for, in our last episode, player of the season so far, Tyrese Campbell getting a brace. He's in the goals. He's showing why you voted so much confidence in him. He's a good young player, isn't he?
Exactly. I mean, like you said, that fills me with confidence as well. And like what you said in the end of when we talked about him, that come next season, will be no surprise if he scores 15, 20 goals. And that's just one performance that shines out to me. I went, yeah, he's the real deal. Not yet. I don't think he should be ranked up there at the moment, up in the clouds of the Championship. But he's definitely on his way up there. And in my prediction, especially, I said that these two have capabilities. These two teams of scoring very high amounts of goals. And I didn't predict there'll be 7 in the game, because if I did, I'd probably have quite a lot of money in my bank account. But I think it's a really good win for Stoke, because Huddersfield scoring 3 goals is good for them. But the fact you still get a win out of conceding 3 goals, it's bad for you defensively, but yeah, I'd say it's all positives offensively for them.
Yes, Stoke starting to hit that form. Maybe my shout of 4th isn't looking too silly after all. They're starting to show signs. Only 1 point off Reading now, and you wouldn't have said that a while ago. Yeah, Stoke showing good signs. I think that did show the weaknesses that Huddersfield have, and maybe the reason I did put them bottom of the league. You can't. I mean, I know you have crazy games and games that can just go anyway, can't they? Like there's certain games where just anything can happen, and like it doesn't matter how good you've been defensively all season. You can throw in 4 in a championship. It's what happens. But to concede that many goals and to score 3 goals away from home and not come away with anything from a game isn't good enough. And that is why they won't be up in the upper echelons of the division. I mean, like we know it's well known I put it in the bottom of the season, but they've impressed me so far of how they've dealt with a squad that I think has got limited ability. I saw a stat on the weekend that Jonathan Hogg has got 200 more passes than anyone else in the division. And when you think Oliver Skipp is 200 behind him in second, and people would probably say Skipp's played for a Norwich team that controls the ball, has all these good players around him. It's all set up for him to do well. And he has done well. But for Jonathan Hogg to be that far ahead of him shows the good football that is being implemented at Huddersfield. Playing well. But yeah, that you can't. I think the defence is a problem there. You can't score to see that many goals and be successful. Probably stay up, doing well, above my expectations. But yeah, a good win for Stoke that, and I think Stoke is starting to. I think we're starting to get into the part of the season, Regan, where your good teams start to show, and where you start to hit form is needed. So Norwich hitting form, Stoke hitting form. Those are 2 sides where this is the perfect run now. If they can put a good month together, how many fixtures you got coming up in the next month? It's the time when your season determines whether you're going to be mid-table or if you're going to be pushing for those playoff places of promotion. So yeah, that was Stoke City 4, Huddersfield 3 at the Bet365. Next, Regan, time to discuss those predictions. We didn't do a champ talk, but we made our predictions on the Twitter at Podcast FTT. Give us a little follow. But what was how did it turn out? How are we looking?
Well, I'm not sure if it was because this is the only predictions we've made where we haven't actually been speaking about it on this, but this is the most diverse predictions we've ever had. There was only 3 we actually both predicted the same result to happen.
It's because I guess there was no influence. I hadn't seen your predictions by the time I'd made mine, so it was completely. Maybe that shows that I am being influenced by you after you make a prediction. But,
exactly, but after this week, because like I said, it could have been if they went all your way, it could have been 7. It could have been 7 in your favour. It could have been 7 in my favour. But it was quite close in the end. I got it by 4-3. The ones that I got right and you didn't. Bristol City being Derby. I thought you were going to get that, but obviously the late-ish goal for City. Millwall Cardiff was a draw, which you got right. I said Cardiff. And obviously the Stoke Huddersfield one you already alluded to. Mm-hmm. And the other 2 we got right. Swansea Rotherham, I mean, that was a given. And Bournemouth Reading. And I thought we were going to get Watford, but I mean, I can't believe that that's a draw. And obviously the Brentford one, but we probably won't talk about that. Maybe after this week, if the results go wrong.
There's a battle at Oakwell happening on Tuesday night, and that could see some midweek rants from yours truly. So
yeah, overall it's 51 to me, 49 with 12 weeks played, so plenty of weeks to go, and it's still close.
Plenty to play for.
Yeah.
Points mean prizes. I mean, I don't know what we're playing for. We're playing for pride, actually, to be honest, because there's quite a debate on who is the most knowledgeable. Anyway, Regan, we're going to get into the midweek fixtures. Well, that is what we're here to talk about. It's what we're here to predict. Tuesday, first game, 7 o'clock kickoff. I'm not liking these 7 o'clock kickoffs. They're weird. I'm going to be at the county ground for Swindon, but yeah, I do not like these 7 o'clock kickoffs at all. But anyway, Luton versus Birmingham. Oh, God, I bet fans are dying to get back in for games like that. It's going to be a cracker. Go on, start us off. What are you thinking? Luton Town versus Birmingham City at Kenilworth Road.
Oh, Christ. Luton versus Birmingham. Oh, I'm not, because every time I've gone against Karanka, he's been close to proving me right, and every time I've gone with him, he's got me completely wrong. So, I'm gonna back. I fancy Nathan Jones at Kenilworth on a Tuesday, so I'm gonna back Luton.
I'm also gonna back Luton. Just. I said I'd pretty much back them at Kenilworth Road every time. I know there's no fans there, but I don't know what it is. It feels like they play. They have something about them, and yeah, I'm just not a fan of Birmingham City at the moment at all. Look pretty poor. Just as I expected, boring, poor, and they're probably just the only thing that makes them relevant is that they'll do a big upset at some point that gives them no gives them nothing apart from another mid-table finish, but annoys promotion hopes of other teams, just like Brentford. Anyway, QPR Rotherham is the next one. The two teams who have struggled this season.
And I think this may be the only time I'm going to predict this entire season.
I know what you're going to say now.
I'm going to back Mark Warburton's men. I'm going to back QPR because when I'm looking at it, they've only lost once of their last 4 games, which isn't too bad.
I'm going to back Rotherham on this one because we don't back Queen's Park Rangers on this channel. Regan, we should know that. Don't know, just QPR's weak defence. Rotherham can pull out a result every now and then out of nowhere. Just one of the feelings. It's off nothing. If you were going to go off quality of team, you'd go QPR, wouldn't you? But I'm going to go for Rotherham in this one. The next one is Stoke Norwich, the 2 informed teams who we've been talking about. Whose little run is going to come to an end, or are they going to both pitter out and play a boring draw?
No, it can't be. I mean, it could be a draw, but I feel like it'll be like a 2-2 or something like that. But I'm going to back Stoke on this because I think that the amount of goals they're scoring compared to how many Norwich are, I think that can only get you so far. So logic dictates it's going to be Stoke, and for once I'm going with the logic.
I'm back in Norwich. I'm going against the logic then, if that's what you call logic, because Stoke have been conceding some goals. Michael O'Neill, their side's usually pragmatic, but I don't know, it's just you've conceded a few goals recently. I mean, we scored 2 there, conceded 3 on the weekend. You can't give chances to Norwich. They'll score goals. And Norwich just like I said, I think Norwich are going to start to build a gap at the top of the league. Not Stoke is still a good side, obviously, but I think Norwich are going to have this. I think they've got the better ability with their midfield technical players to control the game. And I think that's what they'll do. So I'm going to go for Norwich on that one. The next one is Wickham and Huddersfield at Adams Park. What are we going for?
I fear for Huddersfield a bit this game because they do like to play that good, stylish football, but when you come up against Wickham, all your style in your game is literally just evaporated the minute the full time the whistle blows at the start of the game. So I mean, I've only predicted it once and I've got it right, so I'm going to go for it again. Chair boys.
It's gone for the chair boys. Nah, not for me. Huddersfield. I'm just liking them at the moment. They might lose some games, but they give it a good go. And I'm just not a fan of Wickham after Saturday. Just after Saturday. So I'm going to go Huddersfield. They'll want the bounce back. They've had a couple of poor results. Playing against a team who likes to sit back and soak up pressure. But Huddersfield are going to suffocate them, I think. And I'm going to go for a Huddersfield win in that game. Next one is Barnsley Brentford at Oakwell.
Christ. There's a piece of me that's saying that Barnsley could really have a really good chance of winning this game.
Just beat Forest 2-0.
And you ain't scored in 2 games.
Honestly, this may be a surprise for you. Are 1 point behind Brentford right now.
That's quite bad, isn't it?
That shows quality of management if I've ever seen it.
I mean, surely it's got to come to an end soon. And if there's ever a team that's going to roll over for you, it's not going to be Barnsley because they beat you on the final day. But I am going to go for Brentford.
I'm going to go Brentford too. And now my thinking behind that is I feel that Barnsley are going to put a bit of pressure on us, more so than some other teams do. Brentford, obviously, a lot of the time come up against teams who just want to sit in Max Fort. And I know Barnsley aren't the best opposition, and you may have if you look at where they are in the league, you may predetermine what they're going to do. I don't think Barnsley will sit back against you. I'm not saying they're going to go gung ho, but I think they'll apply some pressure to Brentford, which is probably what Brentford would like, to be honest. I think to play 2 0-0s out, we're playing quite stagnant games. We've not got much to them. Barnsley put some pressure on, and Brentford have got the players on the counter attack to score goals. And Brentford at the moment struggling with opening up teams when they sit deep with the lack of side Ben Rama there. He used to do something magical. Now on the counter attack, I feel like we're much more suited to that. I'm going to go for a Brentford win. as well. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't do, but I'm going to go for it anyway. Preston Blackburn, a bit of Lancashire derby. Wish fans were back in for that one at the at Deepdale. What are you going to go for there, Regan? Two indifferent sides, isn't it? Two very indifferent sides.
Yeah, the teams that they play quite well, very differently, but on paper you're like, well, I can't really pick a winner in this one because they're really good when they can be, but when they're really bad, they are atrociously bad. It's it's going to be one of those where I'm just going to cheap out and say I can't see either team beat the other, so I'm going to go for a draw.
Boring in it, but I'm gonna join you on the draw. Everything you said, I feel is completely correct. Move on to the next one. Bournemouth Nottingham Forest is the last game on Tuesday night. Little 8:00 kickoff down at the Vitality for you.
Nothing about Forest literally fills me with confidence. I mean, I thought coming out of the international break that there'll be some fight, but they were just terrible.
It's getting alarming now, isn't it? Because you've sacked Lamucci, you've gone in for Houghton, who is a trusted. We have backed him on this show, and we've gone every time there's been a little break or something's changed in the Forest. We've gone, okay, this will be the time now. This will be the time now. There must be something wrong with the squad there because Chris Houghton can't motivate you. Who can? I mean, I know we usually go for you first in the predictions, but it's just got to be Bournemouth, isn't it? And I think you'll agree.
I mean, the reason that Forest is so bad, I mean, I can't say it, but I have information that the person who's made it so bad rhymes with Anthony Yokart. I'll let you decide who the actual person is. But I'm going to go for Bournemouth.
They've got a yogurt playing for them. What is...
I don't know who this mystery person could be.
Oh, no. It doesn't. I tell you what, you really need Sherlock Holmes to figure that one out. Right, Wednesday night, Middlesbrough derby. Middlesbrough finally lost a game against Norwich. Derby lost again to Bristol City on the weekend. Managerless at the moment. Talks of a takeover, so there's not much stability at that club at the moment. Is this as straightforward as the stats would suggest, Regan?
It's not as straightforward because of that. I thought that Derby didn't play as bad as what they did in the recent games when they played Bristol City. But if your club's just full of that much instability and you've got the most stable manager probably in the league in Neil Warnock, there's got to be some psychological edge he's going to give his men. So I'm back in Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I agree. I like Liam Rossini, a really good pundit and clearly knowledgeable about the game. I think he'll do well in a coaching role at some point later in his career. Rooney obviously knows his stuff and everything, but it's all a bit part and thrown together tomorrow. And when you've got the stability and tactical nous with Neil Warnock, you're not getting one over him, I'm afraid. So I'll go for Middlesbrough as well. Millwall Reading is the next one.
I'm not sure what it is about Millwall this season, but my brain doesn't want me to not really back them in any of these games because there's nothing really I've seen from them this season. They could spring a surprise. Because of that, even though we literally talked about how the wheels are falling off of Reading, I think they're going to get the win. So I'm going to back Reading.
He goes for Reading. I am going to go for Millwall because I just can't back Reading at the moment. In free fall. How's that defence going to deal with balls into the box by Millwall? Don't think it's going to deal very well at all. So yeah, I'll go Millwall on that one. The next game is I have just lost it. My bad. The next game is
Coventry Cardiff. I'll do it for you.
Yeah, well done, mate. Well done. I completely actually clicked off. It's not Coventry Cardiff. It's Bristol City Watford. You're a liar.
Oh wait, liar! What? I missed a game.
Oh, it's Bristol City.
Oh no, sorry. It was the wrong way round. It went Coventry and Bristol City. Don't blame me. Blame Sky Sports.
Two teams in the top 6. We use the BBC here, government-funded broadcasting. Right, we'll go Bristol City Watford. What you thinking on that one, Ashton Gate?
The two teams are actually doing quite well because even though we slate Bristol City in quite a bit in recent weeks, they've actually got 3 wins. Yeah, and that result against QPR has really thrown me off picking Watford as easily as what I've done in the past because we slate QPR not because we hate them, but because they are crap. But to get It's true. To get a draw against Watford, it doesn't fill me with confidence, but neither does that 1-0 with Bristol City. I can't decide. So once again, I'm going to go for a draw.
I am going to go for a draw. Yeah, I'm right. Draw. I don't know what to say. Two good sides. Draw. Coventry Cardiff is the second from last, the penultimate game. Coventry Cardiff at St Andrews. Both got pretty boring results recently. It's not been thrilling by either team, really. I mean, just by the look of your face, I think it says, I'm just going to throw my prediction out there and go draw.
I'm going to back Cardiff. I mean, both of them have only won 1 in 6. So it's literally like a coin toss. And if it literally lands on the edge, it's a draw. But I'm just going to back Cardiff.
And finally, to finish up these predictions of the midweek games, Swansea City versus Sheffield Wednesday.
Swansea
as well. See, that always happens. We always get to the end and the predictions seem to lose their fire and their tactical nous going into them and their reasoning. They just seem to be finished off quickly like that. But anyway, yeah, Swansea to beat Sheffield Wednesday is both our final predictions. And that is this episode of Champ Talk Over. Those are our predictions for the midweek games. We will be back with another episode later in the week for the weekend's games. Hopefully, they're coming thick and fast, as we always say. Hopefully, we can keep getting the episodes out as work permitting. But anyway, yeah, that is that episode of Champ Talk Over. Regan, what have they got to do? They've got to like the video, subscribe to the From the Terrace podcast YouTube channel, leave us a rating on iTunes, and we'll see you in the next Champ Talk.